Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome to the PHNX Rising post-game show, our first ever one here live from Wild Horse Pass. This has been an amazing night here. Happy to be here with y'all today. If you guys are joining us via YouTube, make sure to subscribe. Let us know your comments on the chat. If you haven't yet, make sure to like it as well. But before we get started, I do want to introduce my partner here today, Edwin El Jefe Perez. How are you, sir?
Good. I mean, it's finally not more preseason games, you know?
Exactly.
It was a lot of meaningless games. We were waiting for the day that finally the fans were back. I mean, It was a good showing for the fans.
Yeah.
And, I mean, a good product at the end of the day. I mean, it's a great way to start the season there, Ramon.
8,409 fans showed up today, breaking an attendance record for the opening match of Phoenix Rising. Amazing atmosphere here. I will let you know, we have the kettle corn stand right to our left over here. So the whole night, that smell was just hitting us, and so
got me a little hungry.
I know. I was telling Jacob, our producer, you should go get us a bag. But nonetheless, it was a great, amazing time. The first half, especially for Phoenix Rising. The second half, we'll discuss a little bit later because that's when the Rising defense and overall they kind of teeter off, and that's something that it is of interest of us heading into the next week's game. So definitely, let's get started with the first half. Edwin, we're up here in the press box, a little chilly. I know both of us had our sweaters on, but what'd you think of the first half? I know we had a lot of goals, and we were talking about it a little bit. It's going to be hard to kind of judge this Monterey team, but overall, what were your feelings of it?
Well, for me, I think it was important to get that goal early on. I mean, in the first opportunity they got, I mean, it was a free kick. The ball kind of scrambled in the box. So, you know, it's a little bit of an iffy goal in a sense. But, I mean, to be able to get off in a lead, I think is huge for the confidence. It's huge to let them get into the game. And I think that's what we saw from the attack. I mean, the second goal, I think, is what I highlight the most because that's where we saw a beautiful link-up play. Yeah. Because you mentioned it, the defense from Monterey, I don't know how much we can really tell about how good the attack is because I'm trying to decide if it's how good the quality they are, or was it Monterey's bad defense?
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit of a mix of both. Mm-hmm. So I think at least from the attacking side, you got to feel positive in the first half. Defense, here and there, you know, like they didn't get tested too much, but I think the good thing is that they didn't let in too many goals and too many chances early on.
Yeah. No, and that's one of the things we discussed before the game where, you know, James Musa was unfortunately out for tonight's game. He was present. I did see him here in the tunnel. I believe it was something with his hamstring. He did look good at the jersey reveal event. We saw on social media he was hiking. So we're like, I don't know if he's coming in or not. Owain wasn't able to really let us know until the day of the game. But in his place was Manuel Madrid, which was able to contribute not only on the defensive side, but also offensively. So great to see that. And just to people that are wondering, Owain will be here. He's down there getting he's in the press conference over there with the players and Rick Sean. So he'll come back over here, let us know their thoughts as well, and make sure to have everything for you guys today. But let's talk about the goals, Edwin. The first one, like I said, Madrid was the one to contribute the first one. It came off pretty early. We weren't even settled in. I hadn't even opened my can of Coke over here in the press box. So came in minute number 2. So it was a free kick from Aodhan Quinn. And it was a bit of a scramble, right? We couldn't really see from our side over here, but looking at the replay, Greg Hurst got involved. He hit a great shot towards goal, and then Madrid was able to dive in and get that goal for Phoenix early on. What did you think of that?
I mean, if you pegged Manuel Madrid to get the first goal in this season, I think you're a rich man because I don't think
if you were on DraftKings and you put Manuel Madrid, or as ESPN has it, Manuel Quesada.
Yeah, what's that about?
Come on, I don't know what that's about.
Come on, ESPN.
But yeah, you would have been a rich man, exactly. So what happened during that little scramble up there?
Early on, they got the free kick opportunity, as you mentioned, you know, on the edge of the box. It was a good whipping, but after that, it was kind of a scramble. You couldn't really tell who touched the ball. Even when the ball went in, all of us were looking, who got the goal? Who got the goal?
Yeah, everybody here.
we couldn't tell, but, I mean, Hurst got involved, which I think is important because one of the biggest questions was that number 9 spot, and he kind of won it. And so he kind of left his, like, mark right away, which is, I think, huge for him. And for Madrid, I mean, a player who I don't think would have started, if Musa was starting. So for him to get on the goal sheet, I think that's just huge.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of helps him get into the game and kind of maybe cement himself as one of a valuable options on the bench, because I know people in the chat are talking about, do they need a center back? I know Scott said they do. So maybe Madrid is at least a decent option off the bench,
Definitely. Shout out to the chat right here, Bilal, Jacob, of course, Scott. He's saying we need a center back. And I want to touch that on Scott's comment, because Madrid came in with some doubters. He didn't really play too much last year. He got injured early in the preseason. And so we were scrambling as well. We're saying, hey, is Rising going to be able to get a center back? They had a few trialists. None of them really made the cut. And Rick Chance put the confidence in Madrid to be able to step up. So he had a little bit of an injury spell. He came back strong. He started the first game, got a goal, had a pretty decent night defensively from what I saw. So I think that's going to boost his confidence, and I think that's what you need from Madrid, because Dunn is going to be out for a little while. He was here today. I got to see him. But a lot of Phoenix Rising fans are saying, where's that other center back? Because like we've been saying, that's the position that Rising may be lacking a little bit at the back end.
So I have a question for you then. Do you feel comfortable if Madrid had to start another game and kind of being the first option off the bench in that center?
Yeah, no, I mean, based on what he showed on the field tonight, I think so, especially he's going to be banging in those goals,
Yeah, exactly.
But we'll see. I would feel comfortable if there was another center back, just because of injuries. We saw today Farrell went down for a few minutes. He had a tough tackle in the first half. So if that happens, who are you putting in? Are you putting King in the middle? Are you, going to bring in Flood, Chaston to fill in that right back slot? So that's the things that I don't think Rick Schantz really wants to mess with too much.
Yeah.
So if they had that other center back, they'd be a little bit more confident. But we'll see. Madrid did a great job today. Niall Dunn's injury, 4 to 6 months. I saw him, here on the field. He looked like he didn't even have surgery.
Yeah, I know. It didn't seem like he was hurt. But, I mean, we can't speculate. We can't assume anything. So
exactly.
Without him here, I think it was important for Madrid at least to put in a decent performance.
Yeah.
I think it's for the fans to judge if they feel it's comfortable or not. I'm not opposed to him being that option off the bench, but I think all of us would feel comfortable if they brought in at least someone, because it's not like we're talking about them shifting to a 3-4-3. No, it's either a 4-3-3 or 4-4-2. So you need two quality starting center backs. So
exactly.
I think at least they need another option off the bench.
Yeah, James Musa, we can't underestimate him. He was USL all-second team last year. So definitely a big loss. But like I said, he looks fine. Maybe it's just a precaution. I'm sure he'll be back next game. I was questioning the fact that Jonathan Levin wasn't even in the subs, because he did play center back a few games during preseason. I was confident in this game. Maybe his aerial game, but maybe that was the reason that Schantz maybe sat him down for this one, because you had someone like Chris Cortez, who, as we saw in the first half, they were whipping every ball into him, trying to see if something could happen in the box. So definitely something to look at. Let's talk about that second goal. That one was my favorite. It was a combination play, and I think you and I mentioned it when we were talking about the goals, that if we were to break down one specific goal, it was that one, because all the amazing play that the Rising had on the offensive side, and ultimately it looked like practice to them, which was great. So if you guys see the replay, it looked like it was just a practice, kickabout, and they made the second goal easily.
Exactly. It's nothing to scoff at the other goals, because I mean the goal is a goal at the end of the day. You're not gonna be bad, scoring 4 goals. But if you want an example of what Rising's attack can look like and their potential, it was that link-up play. I mean, we saw it went from Hurst to Arturo to King to Quinn to Hurst. I mean, that pass from, I think, Quinn was phenomenal. Yeah. And then not only did Hurst prove himself as number 9, because I think that was the biggest factor heading in this game, is how comfortable is he going to be up there? Because I think Rising has been missing that comfortable number 9 who can be clinical in front of the net. Yeah. He took that ball with ease, and his finish composure. Yeah. I think that's huge. We need a composed number 9 who can put it behind the net, because let's be honest, I don't think the Rising's going to get as many opportunities as they did tonight to score. So you need someone who's going to take those advantages early on and as often as can. So I think that aspect is very positive in just the link-up play. That midfield and attack, they were beautiful, and they were working together beautifully, which I think is the huge takeaway.
Yeah, and initially I thought that goal was offsides. You saw Hurst kind of teetering right there in between the keeper and the last defender. And like you're saying, Quinn gave a beautiful, exquisite pass, threading the needle. And the thing about Hurst, and that's what I want you guys to maybe in the comments let me know, how do you feel about Hurst being the number 9? I had some doubts from him because he was coming from the championship from USL 1 to the championship. And so that's a big change. You know, we saw it in the preseason. I felt maybe his physicality wasn't all there, but tonight he proved it. His technical awareness, the ability to dribble with the ball in his feet, the ability to find those spaces for Quinn to find him. Yeah, those are the things that are going to make a difference, especially because Rising have been lacking that number 9 for a number of time now.
Yeah, and I think the two biggest questions heading into this game was that number 9 spot and the center back. And I think Hurst's performance kind of put it to ease that number 9 question. Yeah. Because we saw Repetto at the end. I think he got 30 minutes toward the end, came in the sub. Wasn't bad. Didn't get too much of a chance to make an impact. So I don't think we can really judge him off of his minutes.
Yeah.
So, but when you look at Hurst's 60 minutes, I mean, at least first 45, we look at that first half. Yeah. I mean, he was active. I mean, not only in obviously the goal, but he was making passes, he was making the right runs, and positioning himself well. That's what I think Rising needed in the number 9, and so it's alleviated that question and it's shifted the narrative, which we're already talking about, that centered back spot with Madrid and what's going to happen there. But I mean, a beautiful second goal. I mean, it was the best of the bunch. I mean, nothing against the fourth beautiful chip, and then Arturo's great finish in the third goal, but that second one was beauty.
That third goal came in the hand. I think it was like a throw-in from the sidelines, and then there was some issues in the back with Monterey Bay, which is kind of like the theme of their first half here at Wild Horse Pass, where they just couldn't control the ball on their own end, and then they ended up making a mistake where I believe the defender from Monterey let the ball slide, thinking that Diaz from Monterey, their keeper, was going to go and get the ball. He didn't rush out in time, and I believe that's when either Hurst or Rodriguez came out. And then
Hurst got the ball, and then he passed it to Rodriguez.
There you go.
With a beautiful top right finish.
Exactly, and it was just and that was a great goal. And I think that just that shows the defensive pressure strategy from Rising as well. That when they lose the ball, even if it's on a throw-in on the opponent's side, they're gonna buckle down and just make sure to press on the other team. So definitely a great goal. I think my favorite part of that goal was the celebration. Were you able to catch that?
I did see it. I gotta give credit to you because I didn't realize that, because maybe we're so focused on the goal. I was talking to you about it, and then on Twitter we got to see the beautiful beer celebration.
Estrella Jalisco.
You gotta enjoy a little beer when you're doing so good. I mean, what a game from Arturo.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of sorry to shift your question about your celebration, but Arturo with an assist and a goal, and we've been talking about it all preseason long, how much of a beast he is and all that. And I mean, I think he proved us all right of why we've been rating him so much and how talented he is. Because in the midfield, he barely lost the ball, and I don't remember that many moments where he lost the ball and given a bad mistake. He works so well in the midfield and in attacking, and just what he did for that attack was just beautiful. So you gotta give it to Arturo. But I mean, I'm gonna shout someone out real quick. Sorry,
do
to
it.
Take away the shine, but as much as Arturo did well, I think our draft king of the game.
Yes, sir.
That is Greg Hurst.
That's right.
The number 9 himself. What a showing he did. I mean, we talked about him all game long and all that, but a goal and assist right away. I know Owain has rated him so much for what he can do. He's my number 9. He proved himself. So it's a deserved first king of the game from DraftKings for Greg Hurst.
Just a little heads up. I think who we got on the screen right now is actually Aodhan Quinn, but just a little heads up. That's Greg Hurst is going to be the man of the game, or the king of the game.
Boys, I leave you alone for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
5 minutes.
What?
I'm still catching my breath. I ran it.
Yeah.
I just want to. I'm not going to tell what happened today with Owain, but it was a great time here at the press box.
Today was a
Owain.
Very stressful day, guys. Very stressful day.
Owain, thank you so much for making that quick run from the press room over here. We're just breaking down the goals. We're on the third one where Arturo chugged that beer. I don't know if you were able to see that little screen grab that Rising grab, but definitely a great celebration in my book. But
what a goal! Just the link-up play.
Yeah.
There. Just fantastic.
Yeah.
Really fantastic.
Yeah, and we were talking about the pressure from Rising, that even when it's deep in the opponent's half, they're going to go and press that, and they're going to fight for every ball. And I think that's what resulted in that goal. Hurst was able to get the ball, assist Arturo right there, and then just make it 3-0 early in the first half. Let's move on to the fourth goal. Aodhan Quinn, beautiful chip over the keeper. I wasn't too impressed by Diaz from Monterey, and I think it was that positioning that was able to give Quinn that ability to chip it. What did you think of that fourth goal?
You know, you're asking me this. You know that I was unfortunately unable to view that fourth goal for reasons that are
Won't be
hinted
discussed.
at earlier. But
Follow
I'm
us
sure
on Twitter.
We'll
We'll let you know what
later.
happened.
I'll let you know on Twitter later, guys, what happened there.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
just to kind of touch a bit, because I know, don't worry, Owen, we won't press you to talk about it. I didn't get to see the goal too much myself because I didn't expect it, because it came off of another mistake from Monterey Bay. Like we've highlighted, like 3 of the 4 goals came off a mistake, so this was another one. But I mean, good finish from Aodhan Quinn. I think it's good to see him on the goal sheet, because not only does he create, I mean, he can finish the ball, and he proved it there. So in itself, you got to give credit to Aodhan for the finish and being at the right position right there.
No, definitely. It was a great show of, ability from Quinn. I think we've seen that before from him, where he's always kind of looking for that chip over the keeper. So really great first half. Unfortunately, the second half wasn't as great for Phoenix Rising. I think they let off the foot defensively. When it came to Monterey, Frank Yallop was able to make some substitutions that impacted the game. So, Owen, did you anything to say about the second half and what happened there?
Yeah, so I mean, we were just speaking about that with Rick then.
Okay.
And the main thing the one thing he said was about his halftime message, and it's because it often coaches, when you go in, you're 1-0 or you're 2-0 up, you got to, tell the players they've done a good job and all that. But when you go in at 4-0 up, you can't act like that, right? You can't be all happy clappy, because then the foot comes off the gas. He didn't actually today. He got on their back a lot today, and that didn't work. Look, they lasted for probably about 55, 60 minutes of reasonable play. Some subs were made, some things just didn't quite work out. They became a little bit lackadaisical, and the foot just came off the gas. And in the end, it was realistically one error, which the first goal wouldn't have come about if they hadn't have lost the throw-in, which apparently that's got Rick pretty heated. They've been working on that a lot in training, and it just didn't work today. And then that second goal, they just couldn't clear their lines. And if you can't clear your lines, a team in this league is going to make you pay. You've got to actually make the most of that time. Just get rid of the ball. No, bounce around the area. That's too dangerous. Too dangerous for me.
Yeah, and I think maybe that was kind of the theme last year too, where they kind of let the foot off the gas a little bit. Unfortunately, it showed in the playoffs. So I'm sure Rick is going to get about them a lot more, because he does not want that to happen, especially in games like this where they score a lot of goals. 4-2, they could have made it 4-3, at the end. So it's something that, fans, we're going to love the win tonight, but we got to, keep our, wits about us, because it's something that cannot happen again, especially with a team like this.
And let's not forget, in that first half, there was that one chance right behind us at this goal. The ball goes across the face of the goal. One player completely misses the ball. The other player ends up knocking it wide.
Farrell wasn't unable to clear it, and then it went right to a player, completely whiffed it. The second one literally put it next to the goalpost, so it could have been 1-1 to start. So defensively, I think there's a lot to work in. We talked about Manuel Madrid earlier, how I felt he had a great game. He was able to fill in for Musa. Having Musa back will be awesome, though. Is that something that you feel as well?
Well, I do actually have an update on the Musa injury situation.
Let's see it.
Rick just gave us, and that is that he was held out as a precaution today. Obviously, James suffered a slight hamstring injury in that last preseason game a week ago. The doctor said 7 to 10 days. So hopefully now, next weekend, we're going to see James back.
We were wondering, that's what we were just talking about, Edwin and myself, that we saw him hiking, we saw him at the jersey reveal event, and then he's out for tonight's game. So, but again, Madrid was able to come through and not only score a goal, but be able to fill in defensively. So, talking about more defense stuff, I really thought Babu had not one of his great nights over here on the defensive end. Offensively, he had like 2 or 3 plays where the crowd was oohing and awing, but defensively, I think that's what Monterey was going for in order to attack Phoenix.
Well, a tale of 2 responses, actually, from the press, so I can tell you that. You had Aodhan Quinn, who said that in his mind, Babacar's probably best left back in the league. Rick put it down a little bit more circumspect, let's say. He was pointing more to issues between the communication between Babu and between Santi on that left side, and that they were opening up too much space, too far apart, and that was opening up spaces for the other teams to come and attack. And I think that's probably what you were picking up on there.
Yeah. When it came to the second half, again, Monterey was able to come back. overall feelings of the game, Owen. Should Rising fans be okay with this result, even though towards the end it got a little hectic, or is this something that we can kind of just brush off 3 points and let's move on to next week?
It's a 4-2 win to start the season. I mean, sometimes
Numbers lie,
you've just got to say sometimes, it doesn't matter. It's a win. They got the win to start the year. There are new players out there. We got to see Greg goes, what did I tell you? What did I tell you?
I
People
knew.
out there, what did I tell you after the last preseason game? 2 things. Greg Hurst should be starting. Started, goal and assist. Arturo Rodriguez, different beast this season. And for about 60 minutes, he was. He started struggling around about that 60-minute mark, trying to do a little bit of too much sometimes, dribbling the ball. But up until that point, just the chemistry there, fantastic. Look, there were some real positives to take from tonight.
Yeah.
Of course, it can be hard coming out of a game when you're 4-0 up, it finishes 4-2, possibly a third should have been scored, and you go, oh, were we that good? Because you've got all the negatives of recency bias, right? You come out of the game, you didn't feel they were great to end it. But look, you won 4-2 to start the season. 3 points in the bag, plus 2 goal difference. Can't complain, really.
Yeah. No, in that first half, I think I'm more of a glass half full kind of guy, so that's why I'm focusing on the second half. But that first half, I thought they played as well as I've seen them play the entire preseason, and now into the regular season. The defensive awareness was there, the pressing, the passing, especially in that second goal. Is this something that Rising fans can expect more and more with those combination plays between, I know Epps didn't get on the scoreboard tonight, but he was able to, link up a few times. But Arturo, Hurst, bringing those midfield guys in, is that something that we can expect?
That was just classic Phoenix Rising. I mean, there's a reason that this team has dominated in this league in a lot of ways for how many years now? It's been a while, right? And they came out here in that first half and were all over Monterey Bay.
Yeah.
It wasn't really a game in the first half, was it?
No, it was not.
No.
But I mean, the only thing that kept Monterey Bay in the game, which I hate to be picky, we got to celebrate, like Josh said in the chat. We gotta celebrate the defensive mistakes. That's what kept Monterey Bay's attack going. That's the only chance that they really had in the first half. We saw a little bit in the second half. It translated. And yes, you can get away with it with the Monterey Bay team. Nothing against that squad. You go against a Louisville, you go against a Tampa Bay, and you have those mistakes, they'll make you pay. So that's the only picky part. And I think Babu, not the best of games. I think we were spoiled in preseason because I think preseason he had fantastic games. So maybe our perspective is a little different.
Yeah.
So, but like you said, you can't be that. I'm just being a little picky, just a little picky.
Right? I mean, you have to bear in mind, we're talking about defensive errors, that you had a left back who's new to this team, and you had one of the 2 centre backs who isn't a typical starter on this team because James Musa was out injured today. We end up with Manuel Madrid. And yes, Manu gets on the score sheet, but he's not usually starting. And let's be honest, that's for a reason, right?
Yeah.
There are better options on this team.
Yeah.
It just so happens that the better option on this team was out with a hamstring injury today.
Yeah.
So, look, there will be defensive errors in a game like today.
Yeah.
Still, 4-2, nah, I'm not going to be negative. Sure, people
wow,
will be
no
watching
doom and
this.
gloom.
I think we flip sides, but I usually try to be really positive.
I mean,
but Owen's gonna take
I put the positives article out in midweek and had 3 different people quote tweeting saying, "Has someone kidnapped Owen?"
That's true.
Doom and gloom.
Well, the funny thing is, Scott in the chat, we did our draft king, king of the week, king of the game, excuse me. And he wanted Arturo, so I think he disagreed with you there. I also said Arturo, so
I think that's what we all said.
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
between
but
all.
I gotta give it the
between the
Gregors.
2. It was Arturo or it was Greg. We were debating that up here.
It could go either way.
It
Both
could've.
of them had great performances, and I think that's huge. When you have those 2 clicking, I mean, they're going to be monumental to the success of this team. If those 2 can play well, they can go far.
I think Arturo was a little bit slighted by the USL. They ranked their top 10 midfielders. They only put Aodhan Quinn in there. You could put all 3 Rising players in there for
You
top
could,
10.
but they're not going to.
Yeah.
So is Rising still number 4 in the power rankings after this week?
I think Orange County, did
Depends.
they lose?
I mean, Orange County lost away to Colorado Springs.
There.
Okay,
You called it. He called it on Thursday's show.
Tampa are playing tomorrow, right?
Mm.
Did Louisville play today? Yeah, and they won.
Yeah, Louisville won, I think. Yeah.
Louisville won. So, yeah, Orange County again. You can't put Orange County number 1 after they went to Colorado Springs and lost. I mean, no offense to Colorado Springs. Good team. Very good team.
Yeah.
But, no.
let's talk a little bit more about the offensive side. Santi Moore, what's going on there? I think he not his best game today. I think he was a little bit frustrated. Like you were saying, that Babu Santi connection. There was one time specific I remember when Babu, he was getting closed down by 2 players. And instead of Santi kind of checking in to help Babu out to kind of let the ball out into space, Santi just took off with maybe the game plan. But I think that connection has to be a little bit more stronger moving into the next game. What do you think?
You know what? I will come back to your point.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna make a slightly different point now.
Ooh,
Yeah.
okay.
Let's see it.
We are here talking about Santimo not having the best game in a Rising shirt. In a game that Phoenix Rising scored 4 goals.
That's true.
Picture that last season. Seriously, picture that last season.
You're right.
We wouldn't be having that conversation because if Santi had a poor game,
Yeah.
they wouldn't be scoring 4 goals.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think that, Rick admitted this as well, that Santi was looking for that goal and perhaps looking for it a bit too hard. And especially by the end of the game, he just got more and more frustrated, picked up a little bit of a knock at one point. He's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
It's a mixture of frustration. And I think the chemistry will improve between Babu and Santi. And I think when it does, not only are you going to be better defensively, which obviously caused some problems today with chances coming down that wing, but we're going to see a lot more from Santi going forward as well this year, I think.
When it came to shots on goal, Rising had 7. And then 4 goals on the scoreboard. That's not a bad ratio.
Clinical.
Right there. Yeah.
Clinical.
Converted over 50% of that. You got to take that.
Yeah, exactly. 13 in total. Monterey had 15 shots in total. I think those kind of came in the second half when everything was kind of settled in, but 5 in total. So, I want to complain about stuff, but like I said, I'm a half full kind of guy, but I can't because Owen's just making great points
positive,
now.
you got to be
positive. That's it. Everyone else is just you've got no option anymore.
Yeah, no, definitely. So, let's talk about the negatives a little bit more. No, I'm just kidding. No, but is there something that Rising should maybe hold to improve towards? I believe they play Vegas next week. So, what's something that Rising should maybe work on this week, heading into next week?
Focusing for 90 minutes. I mean, it's as simple as that, right? There was 60 minutes of very good play.
Yeah.
That entire first half was phenomenal. The problem is that away trips to Vegas have often been a cause for, they'll win a lot of them. And then when they drop points there, it's simply because of lapses in concentration, just poor moments, often late in games as well. And they've really got to fix that because, on another night, if things had, you've been up against a more clinical side, and I'm not expecting Vegas necessarily to be more clinical, but you never know on any given night, especially on what is normally a very poor footballing pitch. Contrast it to the carpet that is behind us, and that pitch really
just
is
to
a
remind
carpet,
people, they play in a baseball stadium. Is that what it is?
Well, it was a baseball stadium.
Oh,
imagine you had a baseball stadium, and then you could effectively fix the pitch if you want to, but you don't want to, and so the pitch is like. We've been there before, and it was just like brown. And you're like, there's no excuses anymore for stuff like that at all.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm sure that the llama grazing grounds will be
delightful.
We need those llama videos next week when you're over there. So,
well, there's only one llama left.
oh man,
after Dottie died.
Oh man.
You're telling me Rick Chance, the man who loves his pitch, is not excited to go to Las Vegas and play
I think the only thing that could make Rick less excited about going to Vegas would be if they wanted to, once again, have a water balloon fight on the pitch at halftime, which they've done. They've done, by the way. They've done that.
Yeah.
So
this is all new to me. So every story, you can really say anything about what Vegas, and I'll probably believe it because of all the outlandish stories. So
you're terrifying Ramon. He doesn't. He's hearing horror stories right now about Vegas. He doesn't want to go.
He's going to go now home. He's going to fall asleep, and he's going to be dreaming of a llama throwing water balloons at him while a helicopter crashes into his house.
Jeez. Okay.
It's exciting stuff.
Let's talk about Monterey Bay a little bit. Their first ever game as a franchise. Of course, they used to be Fresno, like you pointed out on Thursday, but Frank Yallop's team, unorganized in the first half, kind of settled in the second half. Any players that kind of stood out to you? Anything defensively or offensively that you're kind of like, this isn't that bad for them only having 2 preseason games?
I think Sekou Kone up top was, on his goal, took it well.
Yeah.
I think that just as a whole, though, the way that their team hung in there against, Rising are always going to be one of the title favorites going into the season. Not
Yeah.
necessarily the title favorite,
Mhm.
but they're always in that conversation.
Yeah.
And so if you're a new team, brand new team, and you come away to Phoenix and battle admirably, which I thought they did battle admirably after the way that they fell apart in the first half, they regrouped, they came back out, and they won the second half. I mean, they conceded none, they scored 2, they won that second half. That's a real positive, and it means that they can leave here with their heads held high.
Yeah.
And I think that they're going to take that and feel a lot more confident going into their next few games, knowing that if they can come here and try and put up a fight against Rising, then when they face some of the worst teams in this league, why can't they take the points?
Yeah, no, exactly. You saw the fight and the grit in that second half, and I think that just comes down from Frank Yallop and how he, trains his teams and how he directs them. So,
He's a very experienced coach. I mean, he's a guy who's coached in MLS for years. He's coached in USL for years. All kinds of situations. Phoenix Rising, not here, but up in Casino Arizona Field as it was then. Arizona United, when they were playing in a baseball stadium in Peoria, he went back to a baseball stadium in Vegas, which was a mess. That entire thing was a mess, taking over American Ronaldo. This is a guy who's got a lot of experience in a lot of different situations, and honestly, I think he could do well there.
Another player, I'm trying to remember his name. I believe it was Grant Robinson. I think he was pretty great in the back line. He's one of the most experienced players for Monterey Bay. I think he held the back line, and then when I was down there on the pitch, I could hear him talking with the keeper Diaz, letting him know to calm down, to play it on that side. And I think Monterey really needs that, person in the back that's going to direct everything. So awesome to see. We also got to see Hamilton High School's own Jesse Maldonado take the pitch for a few minutes, and he had a really good play, I believe, right when he came in. So happy to see Arizona kind of on the map on the USL, and I know they have great academies here as well, and so great to see people.
We saw Channing Chase out there as well.
That's true. Did they go to school during the same time?
I don't know if they went at the same time, but we also saw
in Queen Creek, wasn't he?
We also saw Ryan Flood.
And we saw Ryan Flood.
Ryan Flood's another Arizona connection.
Ryan Flood of Corona del Sol,
Yeah, so I mean, it's good. It's good. I mean, for the soccer community, when you have just these Arizona players who can, be playing in the USL, it gives hopes, because I mean, we saw a lot of kids that were watching the games. They had their little uniform.
I like being on the pitch, because I'll hear these kids and they know every single player. They're like, Quinn, Seijas, and I'm like, how do you know you're 7? Like, I don't know. Are you not watching YouTube videos on your iPad? Like, what's going on? Like, they're doing research. That's what they're doing.
At that age, you'd be expecting to name all the Premier League players, and no, they come out here and know these guys. I mean, it's great, and just seeing so many kids out here. I mean, I know you might have been hearing that when I was walking down right actually behind here, and this is of course the family end right behind us. So there are always a lot of kids by there. They see me walking with a microphone, and they're immediately like, "You come and interview us,
sir."
Yeah, it's all the same. What is it? Oh, that is high fives. They reach over and want to do high fives.
No, I felt bad one time because I think one of the kids put out their hand, and I just didn't do it.
Oh, you blanked the kid.
I know. I was scared. I don't know. I don't know what this kid has in his hand.
You were scared of what? A 5-year-old?
they want the Ramon high five. Everyone wants it.
I'm a fist bump kind of guy. You guys know that.
Okay, so next time, fans, when you see Ramon, give him a fist bump.
Yeah, fist bump. That's what I'll do.
All I'm saying for our viewing audience here is remember that my man Ramon, he probably made a 5-year-old cry.
That's me. That's what I do.
And also, I'll remind you, I am also Owain's secretary. So if you want his autograph, come to me.
You gotta go through Edwin first.
Him.
We'll arrange it.
Public appearances via Edwin.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Here
so
and there.
Little heads up. Edwin knows his signature. He just does it without asking no one.
He texts me.
Anyway,
I don't have enough time for this.
Let's talk about the crowd today. Great crowd. Broke a record tonight, Owain. How about that tifo? I know you gave us an insight on it before it came out tonight, but can you give us a little bit more insight on that?
That was hand painted. Okay, that whole thing. They were up in a park in Phoenix, just off the I-17, painting that out on like a concrete basketball court. Okay.
Yeah.
And they spent many, many hours. The Bandidos guys, a couple of people from 602 as well out there. It's just a labor of love for those guys, and to see it come together, to see the massive, massive banner behind that goal.
Yeah.
What a message that sends to the new players on this team.
What did it say again?
It was remember who you are, play with honor. I believe.
There we go. Yep.
It's awesome.
Yeah. And the image of Santi celebrating with a fist out. Yeah. It's great, isn't it? And
Shout out.
one of the biggest we've seen. Shout out to
Yeah,
Banditos.
you got to
for that.
shout
It
out to the
was-
fans. I mean, they made the game electric. The atmosphere. Even when they were, they let up those goals. I mean, the game was still electric. They were still behind the boys, even when it was a little bit of a boring second half, if we're honest. So, got to give credit to them. I mean, we got to meet some of them. Well, at least I did. So, shout out to the fans who said hi. I'll give you a high five. Don't worry, I'm not scared of you.
Wow, I
You
should
won't
have said
make the
that
kids
now.
cry, don't
I
worry.
won't
Oh my
make the kids
God.
cry. So, shout out to the fans.
Yeah, we'll see here in the comments, Josh. I think we got to celebrate. Nothing to worry about. Let's see. Emma says Banditos are some of the most committed fans I've seen, and I
True.
think you're right.
True.
Yeah, the love and loyalty they have for this club is insane, and that's one of the things I want to point out. Like Edwin saw my brother today; he was giving me, he was waving at me from underneath the press box. But my mom was here as well, and so my mom came out here. Obviously, we're doing the show, so she came out to support. But that's one of the things she told me when I met up with her at halftime. It was like, what was that thing that they put? Well, that thing was huge, the tifo. And I was like, oh, this is what they do, and she's like, why is that side so crazy? And why did you buy me seats on the other side? I wanted to be over there. So I think that's the memories that people take when you come here for the first time. And, she's not particularly the biggest fan of soccer, but she comes in and she sees these things, and now she's going to tell her friends, bring it back to my family, and let them know, hey, Phoenix Rising is for real. So those are the things that we want.
There are very few places in this league, seriously now, that can even begin to claim to rival the South End.
Yeah.
The South End is just another level.
Yeah.
I mean, from the smoke, the tifo, all the flags, the pyro sometimes, whether the club likes it or not, the pyro gets in, no pyro, no party. They're just another level, aren't they? And the dedication, the singing all game, it's just great. And if you had to go anywhere, you go in the South End, wouldn't you? Come on. I mean,
Absolutely.
it's a party. It's 90 minutes of party and getting behind the boys.
That's true. And Josh here says, I've only been watching for a short time, but you can absolutely tell the fans would bleed for this team. And that's exactly right. And here's the thing, even though they broke a record tonight, there's a lot more room for people to be here.
Yeah.
So if you haven't come to a game, make sure to be here in a couple of weeks when they come back.
Get yourself out here. Come say hi to us.
Yeah, please do. We'll say hi.
Introduce your kids to Ramon so that he'll just blank them,
I'll give them a core memory of how people can be and not.
Yeah, so
shake their
adults
hand.
say hi to Ramon. The kids can say hi to
get away.
because we'll be
Get
nicer
away.
to them.
Kids go away. No, definitely a great atmosphere here. And fans were here early. If you guys catch us on Twitter, PHNX__rising.
Double the underscores, double the fun.
I don't even know how many followers we got, but if you guys haven't followed us yet,
It's creeping up.
almost to 500, which is our goal. But I put out a video there earlier today of the fans that were waiting for the rally towels, and they were here a lot earlier than I was here. Trying to get into the doors, and I think there was a little bit of a mishap when the doors opened, but ultimately everybody got in. They got the rally towel, and they were ready to go. But that shows the commitment to this team. There hasn't been here a game here open to fans, a regular season game in months, and they show up at the first opportunity, and I got to commend that,
Yeah, and they were treated to one hell of a performance that first 45 minutes. I'll stop tripping over my words in a minute. 45 minutes, just what a performance.
We did get some breaking news before the game. I think you broke this yesterday regarding the liquor license. Any more insight on this?
Beer was here.
I thought you were going to talk.
Look, I'd like to apologize to everyone, and that may be the biggest story I break all year. It's hard to top. I've set the bar high now.
I thought Ramon's going to break a bigger story of what happened before the game, but we'll save that for Twitter.
We'll let you know. There's pictures as evidence.
You know what? While we're on that, can we just say shout out to our real MVP, Jacob Franklin.
Thank you, Jacob. He's over there.
He's not on camera. He's waving. You can't see him.
I've never seen a man munch like on canes, like the chicken fingers, so much than Jacob.
Well, just to be clear, it wasn't the 2-week-old stuff that Edwin almost
It was
ate
the good
last week.
stuff.
But it was cold, so
No, it was great.
No
I
mold.
liked it. He wanted more sauce, but Edwin threw it out. So
I recommended maybe him for king of the game for what he did.
Yeah. Thank you, Jacob. Appreciate that.
Shout out to Jacob there.
Emma wants the story. She said breaks the
go
story.
to Twitter.
If we get to 15 watching,
Story will come on Twitter very soon. Very soon. Just patience is the key.
We're gonna have a whole write up, a featurette. Go PHNX, subscribe. We'll get you all the info on there.
You know what? Actually, I'll change that up. But we can make up $20 in super chats. I'll tell it on air. But you've got until the end.
Wow.
of
I don't
the
think
show.
people here know about super chats, but I haven't seen one in our chats here. Any other points, Edwin, Owen, that you guys want to make regarding tonight's game?
A well-needed start to the season. I think when you start, especially with a club that has all the pressure that Rising does to do what they do, especially following off the last season with the rough ending to the season. You got to bring excitement. You got to bring the confidence into this club. So for them to not only score in the second minute of the game, first opportunity of the game, to get 4 goals, to get a win and be convincing, at least in attacking midfield, props to them. I think it's gonna be exciting to follow them all season long. So you're gonna want to keep following us all season.
Again, that first 45 minutes, that's what this season is.
Yeah.
We're gonna be in for a fun one.
If they can make those 45 into 90, I think we're looking at a legit. I know they're title contenders, but there's no doubt in my mind that they can get down to the final. So definitely something to keep an eye out. All right, guys. I think we're gonna wrap it up here from Wild Horse Pass. They still got the music going. It's making me want to go out. It's Saturday night. I know these fellas, want maybe a chela, something like that, a little beer. I'm working on your nickname. I didn't have enough time this week.
We need a nickname for Ramon too. Ramon's coming up with the nicknames. We need a nickname for him.
You can't give that power to Owain. Come on.
Yeah, me and Owen will come up with something.
Come up with a nickname. We'll get you one.
All right, y'all. And I do want to commend everybody on the chat. Thank you so much for tuning in on this Saturday night. If you haven't yet, please subscribe. Please like this video. Follow our Twitter, PHNX__Rising. We'll give you all the updates regarding Rising season. I forgot to PHNX__Rising.
Double the underscores.
Double the fun. There you go. All right, y'all. Thank you so much. It's been a lovely night. We will see you on Tuesday. We'll have more info regarding tonight's game. Until then, Edwin, Owen, it's been a pleasure. Jacob, we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.